support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
Welcome, Jackrabbit fans, into First Bank and Trust Arena once again. It's Jackrabbit Volleyball here on Collegiate Sports. I'm Ben Anderson. So glad to have you with me for this one. The Jackrabbits taking on the North Dakota State University Bison in a rivalry match tonight. It's a Summit League matchup, and both these teams are 5-0 in the conference. The Jackrabbits undefeated, the Bison undefeated. The last two undefeated teams in Summit League play are facing off tonight. One will walk away undefeated still, and one with the first loss of the year. The Jackrabbits starting lineup about to be announced. The Bison just were. South Dakota State is currently 11-3 overall, and like I said, 5-0 in the Summit League. The Bison are 11-4 overall and 5-0 in the Summit League. Most recently, SDSU was able to beat St. Thomas 3-1 in a 4-battle set here at First Bank and Trust. And as a team, South Dakota State currently ranks 8th in the country at blocks per set with 2.94. Sydney Shetnin and Madison Burr mostly responsible for that one. Shetnin ranked 18th in blocks per set. Burr ranked 60th in blocks per set in the country. Sylvie Scotts has been the highlight for this Jackrabbit team. She's averaging 4.3 kills per set. She leads the SDSU offense. Additionally, Scotts has had at least 11 kills in every match this season and set her new season high of 22 against St. Thomas. Some other players to watch out for tonight. Hannah Klein, a freshman this season, has been going off, and she's averaging 2 kills per set overall as a freshman. Now the starting group for South Dakota State. First down the chute, it's number 5, the center, junior Riley Martin. Second for the Jacks, it's number 6, freshman out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, Maggie Meister. Third for the Jackrabbits, sophomore, 6'1", out of Goodhue, Minnesota, number 8, Madison Burr. Next for the Jacks, the number 1 lady, number 10, Sylvie Scotts, a junior out of Hartford, Wisconsin. Next, that top middle blocker for SDSU, 6'5", redshirt senior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 11, Sydney Shetnin. Right side hitter for the Jackrabbits, 6'1", fifth-year senior out of Lincoln, Nebraska, number 13, Annalie Bentling Brown. And last but not least, the libero tonight for your Jackrabbits, the 5'9", junior out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, number 17, Jocelyn Richardson. The Jackrabbits' first set about to get underway. The Jacks, as always, are coached by head coach Dan Georgialis. He's entering his sixth season as the Jackrabbit head coach. as we meet in the middle of the net. We are about to get this one kicked off here. North Dakota State will send out Bailey Randall, Ariana Bloom, Maddie Dombeck, Emma Tallman, Raya Borer, Lauren Jansen, and Allie Barth. That is the starting group for the Bison. And already some chance from the student section to get us fired up here in the rivalry game between the two states. Of course, coming up is the Dakota marker game in football. That'll be here in Brookings this year, and that will be next week, I believe. That'll be a big one. We'll have it for you on Collegiate Sports as well. Appreciate you listening here for this volleyball game, and I was telling one of the photographers for the Collegian before, Ian Wetzel, I was talking to him before the game, and I was saying this is going to be the biggest match of the year so far. These two undefeated teams, both 5-0 in the Summit League, facing off, rivals, and already heated matchup. Now even putting more onto it with these undefeated records. One team going to walk away 6-0 in the Summit League, and one will fall to 5-1. The Jackrabbits will start off with the serve. If we don't get any subs, it looks like number 6, Maggie Meister, will be behind the line to serve it and start us off. And the first set, Jackrabbits versus Bison. Meister behind the line for SDSU. The first serve of this one is away. Clears the top of the net, picked up in the back left corner there, and the Bison already struggling. They return out of bounds, and the Jackrabbits get the first point of this one. 1-0 with Meister getting that one, and the Bison cannot cleanly return it. So that's going to be a service ace on the first set for Meister. And the Jackrabbits off to a hot start. Lauren Jansen is retying her shoe. It came loose during the course of that first point. So we have a little bit of a stoppage here, but it looks like we're good to go. And the student section already hyped up after that service ace by Meister. She'll be back behind the line once again. Her serve is away. Back left corner once again. NDSU going to pop it up for a turn this time. Spike into the block of Ventling Brown there to Meister. Martin gets to Scott. Scott spikes across and a kill for Sylvie. Scott's her first of the day. 2-0. The Jackrabbits lead it in the first set. Meister still serving. Her third serve picked up by libero this time. Here comes a spike, and that's a heater off the hands of Shetnin and out of bounds. Point for the Bison, their first of the match. It's 2-1, and now NDSU with a chance to serve it. It'll be number 18, Allie Barth, behind the line for NDSU. This one picked up by Richardson. Here's Martin with a back set. Ventling Brown on the right side, and there's I thought it was a kill. The Bison pick it up off the court, and Shetnin sends it back. Scott's on another one, and there's another kill for Sylvie Scott's, her second of the match. It's 3-1, and the Jackrabbits take a 2-point lead as Richardson will serve this one. A diving dig there from the back row for the Bison. There's the return picked up by Richardson. Back set Martin Ventling Brown on the right side, and Annalie Ventling Brown with the kill from the right side of the net. It's 4-1. The Jackrabbits up by 3 here in set number 1, and Richardson will be back behind the line to serve it once again. Richardson to the back right corner, picked up by NDSU. Here comes a spike, and Meister cannot get in front of that one, and the Bison get the point and the kill there. It's 4-2. The Jackrabbits up by 2 in set number 1. Bison with the serve. Behind the line for NDSU, it's Emily Bruss, number 15. Here is Scotts with the bump. Martin sets up Ventling Brown. Ventling Brown sends it to the back row of the NDSU side of the net, and here comes a return out of bounds by NDSU. Attacking error there. Point for the Jackrabbits. It's 5-2. The Jacks by 3. It's set number 1. In the game now to serve it for the Jacks, it's number 2, Rachel Weber. Weber's serve is to center back row. Here is a bump and a spike return from NDSU, dug up by Richardson in the back row, tipped over on hit number 2 by Martin. NDSU all over it. Here comes a spike, and that's a quick one. Weber sends it into the sidelines, and a point there for NDSU as Weber lost control of that one. Jacks leading by 2 still in set number 1. The Bison get the serve back. It's Lauren Jansen now to spike it away here for the Bison. Here a diving dig from Weber. A tip over from Sconce, and the Bison are able to dig that one up. A free ball here for the Jackrabbits. Weber, Martin back set. There's Burr on the outside. Was that in bounds? And the flag says no. Bison get the point. It's 5-4. That was a cannon of a shot by Burr over there on the right side. Just got too close to that right sideline. Called out of bounds. It's 5-4. Jacks by 1. Here's the serve from the Bison. Dug up by Weber. Martin sets up Sconce. Sconce gets blocked up front and stays on the Jackrabbit side. Then Martin gets denied again, and it falls on the Jackrabbit side. We're tied up at 5 in set number 1 after the block by the Bison. Number 13 back to serve it for NDSU, Lauren Jansen. Jansen on the serve. That was going to go out of bounds. Weber touches it on that right sideline. She hesitated and regretted it, and it drops at her feet on that right sideline. The Bison with the ace there. It's 6-5. Bison ahead by 1. It's set number 1. They've crawled back into this one. Here's Sconce to Burr. Burr gets it down, and there's a dig. Block up front by Martin. It stays on the Bison side. Richardson there. Martin bumps it up. Sconce on the left side. Gets it through the blockers. Free ball here for the Jackrabbits. Martin gets it back to Sconce. She goes back left corner. Bison on the return. Here's a spike out of bounds on the left sideline. Point for the Jackrabbits. We're tied up at 6 in set number 1. Back to serve for SDSU. It will be number 10, Sylvie Sconce. Sconce has 2 kills on the match. Here's the service, picked up by libero for NDSU. Here's a spike return off the block into Rachel Weber. Here's Martin, and it stays near the net, and it falls on the Jackrabbits side. Point for the Bison, and it's 7-6. The Jackrabbits down by 1, set number 1. Back to serve for NDSU. It's number 10, Raya Borer. She is the libero for the Bison. This one out the back line. Good eyes by Rachel Weber. Point for the Jackrabbits on the service error there by Borer, and it's tied up at 7. Sophomore Madison Burr back to serve it for the Rabbits. Burr's serve picked up by back row middle. Here to the front row. Here comes a spike. That's to Sconce. Sconce dug that one up. Martin bumps it up for Klein on the left side. Klein gets it back to the libero. NDSU he easily digs that one up. Here comes a spike that goes between the block of Shetland and Martin on that right side, and it falls at their feet on the Jackrabbit side of the court. Point for the Bison. It's 8-7. Jacks are down by 1. It's set number 1. Number 5, Maddie Dombeck is back to serve it for NDSU. Dombeck's serve picked up by Weber. Here's Martin with a setup for Sconce, and she sent a laser, and NDSU digs that one up on hit number 1. It crosses the net, and the Jacks are not in position to return it. It falls on the Jackrabbit side after that laser by Sconce, and it's 9-7. Jacks down by 2. Dombeck still serves. Here to Sconce. Martin sets up Shetland. Shetland spikes across. NDSU digs it up and returns it back to Weber. Here to Richardson. Klein on the outside, couldn't get it through the block. Martin setting up Sconce center net now. She tips over. NDSU there. They set up a spike return. That to Weber on the dig. Martin setting up Klein on the left side. She gets it back to the back row of the libero, and NDSU digs it up, returns it. That's close to the back line. The flag says inbounds, and the crowd does not like that call. It's 10-7 after the flag rules that ball inbounds. We might get a coach's challenge here. As it stands, it's 10-7. The Jackrabbits are down by 3 in set number 1, and the officials are going to take a look at this one. We will step aside, and we will come back after the officials make a ruling on this one. We will be back after this.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust Arena. Officials taking a look at that last call. Flag says it was inbounds. Jackrabbits say otherwise. They challenge it. Officials have ruled that that ball was inbounds, and the Bison are awarded the point. It is 10-7. The Jacks down by 3. Service by the Bison, picked up by Weaver. Here's Martin to Shetnan. Shetnan tips over. Here to the back row of the Bison. They set a spike that's blocked by Klein. It stays on the Jack side. Martin on the recovery. And here is Sconce. Sconce over. And Bison blocked up front by Shetnan. And the Bison give a free ball over to the Jackrabbits. Here is Richardson to Klein. Klein sends it to the back row. That's dug up by the Bison. And here over to Weaver, another free ball for the Jacks, tipped over by Shetnan, and she finds open space in the back row. The kill for Sydney Shetnan. It's 10-8. The Jackrabbits down by 2. It's set number 1. Back to serve it. It's number 5, Riley Martin. Martin on the serve. Here picked up back row, number 1, Bailey Randall got that one for the Bison. Here it comes back. That one close to the back line also. This time the flag says out of bounds. Point for the Jackrabbits. It's 10-9 after the attacking error there by the Bison. The Jackrabbits down by 1. It's set number 1. Martin still serves. This one back to Randall on NDSU's side. Blocked up front by Shetnan. It stays over on the Bison half of the court. Blocked again by Shetnan. It stays over on the Bison side. They bump over. It's a free ball here to Sconce. Martin and Ventling Brown on the tip over. Picked up by Libero. Here is a return. A spike, and that's expertly dug up by Sconce, and it goes barely out of bounds on that right sideline off of Sconce's dig. Point for the Bison. It is 11-9. The Jackrabbits are down by 2 in set number 1. Back to serve is Bailey Randall for the Bison. She's from Sioux Falls. Off the cuff of Hannah Klein, the freshman, and that's going to be a service ace for Randall as Klein awkwardly got a hold of that one, and it rolls off her forearm to her left and out of bounds. Bison with a service ace. It's 12-9. This one out of bounds, service error, and the Jackrabbits awarded the point. Good eyes there by Klein on that one. It's 12-10. The Jackrabbits are down by 2, and it is Hannah Klein back to serve it. Klein's serve off the libero, and it's an ace for Hannah Klein as she returns the favor. Awkwardly off Raya Borer, the libero for NDSU. That's an ace for Hannah Klein. It's 12-11. The Jackrabbits down by 1, set number 1. Klein serves again from the left side. Back to the libero, and it's another ace! Hannah Klein! Back-to-back aces! Klein ties us up at 12-all in set number 1 with back-to-back aces. She serves again from behind the line. This one will be returned by the Bison. It's a spike, and the flag rules it inbounds. That was close to the back line again. and it's a point for the Bison. It's 13-12. The Jackrabbits down by 1, set number 1. Serving for the Bison, Ali Barth. This one to Richardson. Here's Martin and Sconce with the over. And NDSU on the return from the far side. Blocked up front. Ventling Brown keeps it behind the net on the right side. And we're tied up at 13 after the block by Ventling Brown. And Jocelyn Richardson will serve it for the Jacks. This one touched by NDSU. And they're definitely going to have to challenge this one. The officials say out of bounds on the Jackrabbits, but certainly that one was touched by Bailey Randall before going out of bounds. And this one should be a point for the Jackrabbits. Originally, they award the point to the Bison as that service was going out of bounds, but it's certainly touched by Randall there at center back row. And currently, as it stands, it's 14-13 in favor of the Bison, but this one should be quickly overturned. If this is overturned, it will be another ace for the Jackrabbits, but we will see. Richardson sent that one over. And as I'm watching the replay, certainly see the ball shift in rotation after crossing the player, so I think we should get an overturn here. But again, the officials unsure. And we look like we're going to get a ruling here. And that point is overturned in favor of the Jackrabbits. That's going to be a service ace for Jocelyn Richardson. And it'll be 14-13 in favor of the Jackrabbits now. So Richardson back to serve. A service ace on that last one, and she sends it away again. Picked up by Randall. Here on the Bison return, they send it inbounds to the back right corner. There's no Jackrabbits in the area. The Bison tie it back up at 14. It's set number 1. The Bison will have the serve. Emily Bruss is back to serve it. Bruss sends it over to Sconce. Martin and Burr back to the back row of the Bison. They send a spike blocked up front. Burr and the Bison keep it alive. Here's a free ball for the Jacks. It's to Richardson. Then Ventling Brown back over to the Bison. They tip over. It's Richardson. Martin on the setup, set over, and the Bison ready for it. They send it right back to Martin on the recovery. Ventling Brown gets blocked up front on her spike, and the Bison with the kill there. It's Ariana Bloom credited with that block. The Bison take the lead. It's 15-14. The Jackrabbits are down by 1. Service by Bruss. Jackrabbits there. It's Martin to Sconce. Sconce gets it over. The Bison ready for it. They tip to Martin. Here's Meister. And Sconce again on the tip over, and another kill for Sylvie Sconce, her third of the day. It's 15 all here in set number 1 between these two 5-0 teams in the Summit League. The last two undefeated teams in the conference facing off here tonight. Weber on the serve for the Jacks. And it's a service ace, Rachel Weber, and the Jackrabbits have so many aces in the first set. The Jackrabbits have 5 service aces in set number 1. Weber service again. This to the back right corner. The Bison pop it up. setting up the attack now. They send it back to Weber. Here's Martin setting up Scott. Scott gets blocked. Martin tries to recover. She can't get enough on it. We're tied up at 16, and the Bison with the serve. Service by the Bison, picked up by Weber. Here's Martin, and Burr sends a cannon inbounds, and a kill for Madison Burr on the right side. (17-16). The Jackrabbits lead by 1. It's set number 1. Sylvie Scotts back to serve it. Scotts is served to the back right corner of the Bison. 2 consecutive bumps. Here comes the spike out of bounds. Attacking error there by the Bison. Point for the Jackrabbits. The Jacks with a lead of 2. It's 18-16. Scott serves again. Spiked over to the barrow. Here's a tip over by the Bison. Here's Scott's unloading again. Was it touched by the Jacks? No. Point for the Bison as that one went out of bounds. It's 18-17. The Jacks by 1 here in set number 1. Libero with the set over. Here to Weber and Klein on the left side spiking. Bison on the return here to Scotts. Martin tries for the block. She misses it, but Richardson recovers. Here is Klein tipping over, and Hannah Klein with the kill, her first of the night. Hannah Klein's first kill of the day. That wasn't a service ace. She has 2 of them back to back in the first set. And now it will be Madison Burr for the Jackrabbits to serve it. It's 19-17 in favor of the Jacks here in the first set. Burr across back row middle Bison. They return a tip. It's going to be to Scotts. Martin, Klein on the left side. She could not penetrate that block on the left side by Zoe John. She is 6 foot, a sophomore for the Bison with the block there. And it's going to be 19-18. The Jackrabbits are up by 1. It's set number 1. Maddie Dombeck back to serve it for NDSU. Their serve to Scotts. Here's Martin. Martin to Shetland. Shetland tips over. Here's setting up a spike. That goes out of bounds. Was it touched by Martin? Yes. Before going out of bounds. And a point for the Bison ties us up at 19. This one's going to be a battle between these two teams all night. Dom Beck serves again. Here to Scotts. Martin backsets Shetland tipping over. Did she get the kill there? The flag says inbounds. And the Jackrabbits get the point. It's going to be 20-19. The Jackrabbits up by 1 in set number 1. Martin on the service. Picked up by Randall. Here is the Bison return. Blocked up front. Hannah Klein gets the block on the left side. And the Jackrabbits with the point. It's 21-19. The Jacks by 2 in set number 1. And the Bison going to use their first time out of the set. We'll be back in a minute on Collegian Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by D.O. Bike and Fitness. Located at 1738 6th Street in Brooklyn, South Dakota, D.O. is a place for all things bikes. Offering top brands such as Trek and Electra, this close-to-campus store has both bike and e-bike options. Remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy a bike, and that's pretty close. 692-2022 is the number to call for this full-service and sales store. D.O. is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back to First Bank and Trust Arena. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegiate Sports. So glad to have you along with me for this one. The Jackrabbits taking on the Bison here in First Bank and Trust Arena. It's 21-19 in the first set in favor of the Jacks. The Bison just used their first of 2 timeouts of set number 1, and it's number 5, Riley Martin, back to serve for the yellow and blue. This to the back right corner of the Bison. They set up a return. They can't clear the net. It's a service ace for Riley Martin, and that's going to be the 6th service ace for the Jackrabbits in the first set. It's 22-19. The Jackrabbits up by 3, and Martin serves again. Here, awkwardly off the Bison dig, and it's a free ball here for the Jacks. Martin sets up Shetton on the tip over, and there's a kill for Sydney Shetton on the tip. Found empty space in the middle. 23-19. The Jackrabbits are up by 4 here in set number 1, and the Bison going to use their second timeout. We'll stay right here for that one. The last service by Martin not credited as a service ace. They're credited as a bad attacking error by the Bison. So 5 service aces for the Jacks. Top players for the Bison is Bailey Randall with 4 kills so far. She also has a service ace, 3 digs as well for the Bison. And then number 13, Lauren Jansen for the Bison, has 3 kills and 1 service ace, as well as 4 digs and a block up front. On the Jackrabbit side of things, Sylvie Scotts with 3 kills and 3 digs. Shatnan with 3 kills and 2 blocks up front. Hannah Klein with a kill and 2 service aces, a dig, and a block. That's the top stats through this one as we reach the end of the second timeout by the Bison. The Jackrabbits leading the first set 23-19. 2 points away from putting the first set away. Riley Martin still serves it. Martin tips the top of the tape, and it falls on the Jackrabbit side. Point for the Bison on the service error by Martin. It's 23-20. The Jacks are up by 3. Bison serve to Martin. Here is Klein, and Klein with the attacking error as she meets the net as well. It's 23-21. The Jackrabbits up by 2 here at set number 1, and it's Bailey Randall still serving for the Bison. This one out of the back line, service error by the Bison. Point for the Jackrabbits. It's 24-21. The Jacks up by 3, and it's set point in set number 1 for the yellow and blue SDSU Jackrabbits. Back to serve it on set point. It is Maggie Meister, the freshman. Meister to the libero of the Bison. They send a spike that's dug up by Richardson. Free ball here for the Bison as that one went over the net. Here is a spike across. Martin sets it up. Meister on a bump. On the outside, it's Annalie Ventling-Brown, and here's a free ball for the Jacks. It's Martin and Meister and Scotts, and she puts away the first set as she meets the block, and it goes out of bounds on the Bison touch. It's 25-21, final score of the first set, and set number 1 goes to the Jacks. We'll take a 3-minute break, and we'll be right back for set number 2 of this undefeated Summit League matchup here on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
So what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Are you prepared for an emergency or disaster? Because it's not a matter of if, but when. Don't find yourself saying,
when the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
The scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
I'll face a hurricane without meds. Now that's a tough pill to swallow.
let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell. Get started at ready.gov/older adults. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by D.O. Bike and Fitness. Located at 1738 6th Street in Brookings, South Dakota, D.O. is a place for all things bikes. Offering top brands such as Trek and Electra, this close-to-campus store has both bike and e-bike options. Remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy a bike, and that's pretty close. 692-2022 is the number to call for this full-service and sales store. D.O. is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back in for set number 2. The Jackrabbits take set number 1, 25-21 over the Bison, and that hard-fought one back and forth through the entire set. The Jackrabbits pull through to end out that set, but it's a new set. It's 0-0 of set number 2. We switch sides. The Jackrabbits will be on the far side, the Bison on the near side, as I see it. Jackrabbits able to pick up 5 service aces through the first set, an astonishing feat. And keep an eye out for Sydney Shetton. She currently has a hitting percentage of .429. Here's service from the Bison to start things off. The Jacks on the return. It's a spike out of bounds by Ventling Brown. The first point goes to the Bison. It'll be 1-0 to start off set number 2 in favor of NDSU. Service again will be from Bailey Randall for NDSU. Picked up by Richardson. Martin here to Shetton. Shetton tips over. Block up front, Ventling Brown, and it stays on the Bison side. A block from Ventling Brown ends that point. It'll be 1-1, and the Jackrabbits with the serve. Jocelyn Richardson, the libero for the Jacks on the service, and that one's going to be an ace. Jocelyn Richardson, service ace. She sent it over, and Bailey Randall couldn't get a clean return. It'll be 2-1 after the ace by Richardson, and the Jackrabbits up by 1. The 6th ace of the day for the Jackrabbits. Bison return, and another point for the Jackrabbits as the Bison send that one out of bounds off of the service by Richardson. It'll be 3-1 after the attacking error, and the Jackrabbits are up by 2. And Richardson puts it down in bounds again. Another service ace for Jocelyn Richardson. Richardson with her 3rd service ace of the day. It's 4-1, and the Jackrabbits are up by 3 here in set number 2 over the Bison. And the Bison send that one out of bounds on the attack. And attacking error, the Jackrabbits take the lead. Maintain the lead 5-1. The Bison are going to get a coach's challenge for this one. They're going to say the Jackrabbits touched it before it went out of bounds. As it stands, it's 5-1 in favor of the Jacks. It's set number 2. They're going to take a look at this one. We'll step aside. We'll be back in about 30 seconds with the results.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back to First Bank in Trust Arena. Still looking at this play. Currently the Jackrabbits lead the Bison in set number 2, 5-1. They're looking at this last service by the Jacks. The Bison send a return and it goes out of bounds off the Bison touch. They're looking at if the Jackrabbits touched it before that point. Right now the Jackrabbits have 7 service aces and through the first set and then 6 points in to the second set. That is astonishing. The Jackrabbits with 7 service aces over the Bison through the first set and into the second. 2 service aces for Hannah Klein, 1 for Rachel Weber, 1 for Maggie Meister, and 3 service aces for Jocelyn Richardson. And of course, Riley Martin had one that I thought was a service ace, but that gets taken away from her. So right now the Jackrabbits sit with 7, and that call is going to be overturned. The point goes to the Bison. So it'll be 4-2. The Jackrabbits still lead it, but only by 2 now, and the Bison will have the service. It's Allie Barth. Barth's serve is picked up by Meister, and she can't get a clean handle on it. And it's going to be an ace here for Allie Barth. A lot of aces in this game. The Bison do have 3 service aces now. It's 4-3. The Jackrabbits up by 1. Here comes a cannon by Ventling Brown, somehow dug up there. Sadie Johnson got that one for the Bison. Here over to Richardson. Here's Martin and Burr. Burr gets it into Bison territory. Here is a return. Blocked up front. Ventling Brown and Madison Burr there on the near side. Block. Stop that one and get the kill for the Jackrabbits. It's 5-3. The Jacks by 2. It's set number 2. And serving is number 2, Rachel Weber. Weber's serve picked up by Johnson for the Bison. Here is a block on the right side by Sylvie Sconce. You don't see Sconce getting up there and blocking them that often, but she does on the right side. She's 5'11", the junior out of Hartford for the Jackrabbits with the block there. It'll be 6-3. The Jackrabbits are up by 3. Weber serves again. Weber gets it into some confusing territory there in the back row of the Bison as 2 players ran into each other. They get a clean return, and it just to the right of Burr, who tried to block it, and it goes down on the Jackrabbit side. Point for the Bison. It's 6-4. The Jacks up by 2. It's set number 2. Serving for the Bison, number 15, Emily Bruss. Bruss tips the top of the net and makes it over to the Jackrabbit side. Here's a cannon out of Sconce, and it's out the back row. That was a laser by Sylvie Sconce. Unfortunately, it'll be an attacking error. It's 6-5. The Jacks up by a narrow 1 in set number 2. Service again by the Bison, picked up by Meister. Here's Martin, and a spike by Sconce, and she sends it out of bounds again. Another attacking error there by Sconce, and that was another killer spike. Just went outside of that right sideline, and the Bison tied up at 6. Serving again is Emily Bruss for the Bison. Here to Meister. Martin back set to Burr. Burr gets it over. It falls near the blockers, and the Bison give over a free ball here to Weber. Here, Martin on the direct set on number 2, and Martin with the kill as she finds empty space in the middle and returning that one on hit number 2 for the kill. The setter, Riley Martin. It's 7-6. The Jackrabbits by 1 in set number 2. Scotts will serve it from the back right corner. Picked up that time by Jansen, and a block up front, Madison Burr, and it'll be 8-6 in favor of the Jackrabbits. And set number 2 after the block by Burr. Scotts will serve again. She sends that one over to Jansen. And here's the tip over. An excellent dig by Klein as she had to dive for that one. The Jackrabbits get a return out of it. This one over to Scotts, and it ends up in the scorer's table of Klein diving over there by the stat keepers. And a point there for the Bison. It'll be 8-7. The Jackrabbits up by 1. It's still set number 2. And number 13, Lauren Jansen, will serve it for the Bison. This one to Weber. Martin setting up Scotts, and there's a cannon out of Scotts. It's somehow dug up by Jansen. And the Bison get a return here to Martin and Burr. Burr tipping over, and she gets it through the block, and Burr with the kill. It'll be 9-7 as the Jackrabbits lead by 2 after the tip by Burr. Good awareness there by the sophomore for the Jackrabbits. They lead it now by 2. It's set number 2, and Burr is back to serve it. Picked up by Randall for the Bison. Here is the return, Jansen, and Shetland does get a block, but it ends up at her feet, not on the Bison's side. So point for NDSU. It'll be 9-8. The Jacks by 1. They've led for the majority of this second set, but the Bison not far behind. Here's the libero on the service, Riot Borer. Here to Weber. Martin sets up Shetland, and Shetland gets it through the block, and a kill for Sydney Shetland. It'll be 10-8, and the Jackrabbits are up by 2 in set number 2. Back to serve, it's number 5, Riley Martin. Martin's service picked up by Randall. Here's the return by the Bison, and Shetland, a little miscommunication there between Shetland and Ventling Brown as Shetland sets it over to Ventling Brown, and she runs away from the ball. She wasn't looking at it, wasn't ready for it, and the Bison get the point off that miscommunication. It will be 10-9. The Jackrabbits will be up by 1. Back serving is number 5, Maddie Dombeck for the Bison. This one to Scotts. Martin back set. Ventling Brown on a cannon of a spike. Somehow dug up in the back row by the Bison. They send a return, and this one's out of reach for Scotts as it hits the court. We're tied up at 10 after the Bison point, and Beck will serve it again. Dom Beck here to Scotts. Martin and Klein into the blockers and out of bounds on the Bison touch. Hannah Klein gets the kill there. It's 11-10. The Jackrabbits up by 1. And serving for SDSU will be Maggie Meister. Meister has a service ace already today. Sends it over here to Randall this time. The Bison get a return, and Martin's in the right area, just not ready for the ball. And it hits her in the hand, but doesn't go the right direction. Point for the Bison. And we're tied up at 11. Randall, and a service error for the Bison as that one meets the net. Point for the Jackrabbits. It'll be 12-11. The Jacks by 1. Back to serve it will be Jocelyn Richardson. Jocelyn Richardson, the libero for the Jacks, with the service. She has 3 service aces today. Might get another one, but a scramble recovery by the Bison and a free ball here for the Jacks. Martin to Burr. It gets blocked still on the Jacks side. Martin back sets over to Scotts, and there's a kill on the tip by Sylvie Scotts. And what a clean back set from Martin from the other side of the net. It'll be 13-11. The Jacks by 2, and Richardson serves again. Here is the Bison return. Meister on the dig. Martin here to Scotts. Scotts gets blocked. It stays on the Jackrabbit side. Martin back to Scotts. Scotts tips this time. And the Bison are going to send a return. It's a spike to Martin. Here is Meister. And Ventling Brown out of the back line. Point for the Bison on the attack error there by Ventling Brown. It'll be 13-12. And the Jackrabbits are going to be up by 1. Allie Barth serving for the Bison. That's out of the right sideline. Out of bounds service error, point for the Jacks. It's 14-12. The Jacks are up by 2. Back to serve for the Jacks. It's number 2, Rachel Weber. Weber gets it to Borer. And the Bison spike is through the Jackrabbits in open space. That one sent over by Lauren Jansen. Point for the Bison. It's 14-13. The Jacks by 1. And serving for the Bison is Emily Bruss. Bruss here to Weber. Martin back set. Burr unloads on it. And the Bison get a return here. Free ball for the Jacks. And Scotts tips over. The Bison going to return it on the near side. It goes over to the Jackrabbit side. Martin recovers. Here to Martin on a spike and a kill for Riley Martin as she spikes it into the back row of the Bison. Martin doesn't get a chance to spike him that often. The setter usually setting up other players for the assist. This time gets a set, and Martin able to capitalize. Here is Scotts on the service for the Jacks. It's 15-13. That one goes out of bounds. Service error for the Bison. It'll be 15-14 now, and Bison will have the serve. It'll be Lauren Jansen, number 13, to serve it. She is from Plainfield, Illinois. Here to Scotts. Martin with the back set to Burr. Burr gets it over to the Bison side. The Bison dig it up and send it back as Richardson has to dive for that one. And Klein with the return of the spike. Dug up in the back row for the Bison. Here comes another spike. Richardson again. Scotts has to bring it in from out of bounds to Klein. On a bump over, it's a free ball for NDSU. Setting up the left side spike. It's Randall with the kill for the Bison. It'll be 15 all here in set number 2. And to serve it again, it is Jansen. This one is Scotts. Martin here, Klein. Klein with the kill from the far side of the net. Hannah Klein gets another one. 16-15. The Jacks by 1. It's Klein's 4th kill of the day. As Jackrabbits lead by 1. Burr with the serve. Here to Randall. And a spiking return is Zoe John. It goes out of bounds, and the point awarded to the Jackrabbits. It will be 17-15. The Jacks are up by 2. It's set number 2. And here is Madison Burr on the service once again. And a trick play there by the Bison. And it's sent right back over by the Jackrabbits. And here comes a spike. And it ends up out of bounds. Called by the flag. And point for the Bison. It'll be 17-16 in favor of the Jackrabbits. The Bison with the service will be Raya Borer. The trick play I was referring to on the Bison side is Randall went up for the spike. She missed the spike, and the libero Borer sent it over instead. Here is a tip over by Shetland here. The Bison going to get a return on the right side, dug up by Scotts as this volley continues. Here's Martin, and back to Klein. Klein tips over. The Bison going to send one right back on the left side. This one gets out of reach from Weber, and the Bison end that long volley with a point. It'll be 17-all now as the Bison tie things up late in the second set. The Jackrabbits are going to use a timeout here to get some water and recover after that long volley. We'll be back in a minute on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank and Trust Arena. The Jackrabbits just used a timeout here in the second set. We're tied up at 17-all. Long volley leads the Jackrabbit timeout. The Jacks have one remaining for the set. Back to serve is Raya Borer, the libero for NDSU. Borer to Weber. Here Martin with the set on two. It's over to the NDSU side. It's a bump and a spike over there by Jensen. Here's Martin again for Klein, and Klein gets it over to a Bison touch before going out of bounds. Point for the Jacks. It'll be 18-17. The Jacks lead it by one. Set number two, Riley Martin will serve it for the yellow and blue. Martin to Randall. Here is Randall again. She gets blocked by Ventling Brown, and it's down on the NDSU side. Point for the Jacks after the Ventling Brown block. Riley Martin will serve it once again. This one picked up by Jansen, returned by Randall, and the Jacks all over it. They'll send back a spike for Klein. Bison with the return. Can't get it over the net. And a point for the Jackrabbits on the attacking error there by the Bison. Would have been a free ball for the Jacks either way. Jackrabbits leading by 3 here nearing the end of the second set. The Bison going to use their first timeout of set number 2. We'll take it with them.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
Welcome back in here to the second set of this rivalry matchup in the Summit League. The Jackrabbits taking on the Bison. It's 20-17 in favor of the Jackrabbits. The Jacks won set number 1, 25-21 just before this. Bison just used their first time out of the set. Coming out of it now, the Jackrabbits will have the serve. It's Riley Martin. Martin serves it to Borer, and here's the return by the Bison. Diving for the dig, it's going to be Martin. Here's a tip over by Klein, who finds empty space near that right sideline. And a kill for Hannah Klein, and the point for the Jackrabbits will be 21-17 as the Jacks up by 4 here in set number 2. Martin is on a roll. She's still serving. The Jacks are on a 3-0 scoring run. Here's the tip over, and it gets in bounds. The Bison get the kill. They end the scoring run. It'll be 21-18. The Jacks still lead it by 3. It's set number 2. The Bison going to get a chance to serve it here. Maddie Dombeck. Dombeck gets it over Scotts. Martin and Ventling Brown gets it down. It's a kill for Anna Lee. 22-18. The Jackrabbits lead by 4. It's set number 2 and number 4, Hannah Klein, back to serve it. Here to Lauren Jansen. The Bison get blocked up front by Shetnin. They have to recover. Free ball here for the Jacks, and they couldn't get under it, because that one was a light spike over, and Hannah Klein in the area just couldn't get under it quick enough, and it hits the court on the Jacks side. It's 22-19. The Jacks are up by 3. Bailey Randall on the service for the Bison. Martin sets up Shetnin, and she unloads on it. And a kill for Sydney Shetnin. 23-19. The Jacks up by 4 after the kill by Shetnin. It will be Jocelyn Richardson back to serve it. This one dug up in the back row. Bison going to return this one. Spike here dug up by Richardson on the Jacks side. Here is Scotts, and Scotts can't clear the net. Point for the Bison. It's 23-20. Jacks up by 3. It's set number 2. Allie Barth will serve it for NDSU. This to Scotts. Here's Martin and Bentley Brown, who sends a cannon, and that one just barely out the back line. Untouched by the Bison, gives NDSU the point. It's 23-21. The Jacks up by 2. It's set number 2, and it will be Barth still serving for the Bison. Barth serve here for Meister. Martin, and Burr goes for the tip, and she can't clear the top of the tape either, and it falls on the Jackrabbit side. Point for the Bison. Another attacking error there by the Jacks, and it's now a 1-point set in favor of the Jackrabbits, who can't seem to put this second set away. And here comes the timeout from head coach Dan Georgalis. The Jacks 2 points away from finishing off this second set, but the Bison crawling back into this one on a 3-0 scoring run now. It's 23-22. We'll stick with it as the Jacks have called a timeout. Taking a look at the stats for the Bison, leading with kills is Bailey Randall. She's got 8 and a hitting percentage of .238. 1 service ace, 4 digs for Randall. Lauren Jansen is second on the team in kills. She's got 6 of them and 1 service ace and 9 digs and a block. Zoe John has 3 kills for the Bison, a hitting percentage of .250 and 2 blocks as well. Allie Barth with 3 kills, a hitting percentage of .222, a service ace, 2 digs as well. Ariana Bloom with 2 kills, a hitting percentage of .167, 2 blocks up front for the Bison as well. Coming out of the Jackrabbit timeout, number 18, Allie Barth, will serve it for NDSU as we near the end of the second set. And the Jackrabbits have a narrow 1-point lead. Barth to Scotts. Martin sets up Scotts for the spike over, and somehow brought back in bounds there by Barth. An excellent play there by the Bison. Here's Martin over to Scotts. Scotts tipping over. The Bison able to dig it, and blocked up front by Burr, and Burr puts it away off the block as the Bison cannot recover. It'll be set point, set number 2 for the Jackrabbits. It's 24-22, and Rachel Weaver will be back to serve after this Bison timeout. They're going to use their last timeout of the set. Let's take a look at South Dakota State stats. Currently leading the team in kills for SDSU, it's number 11, Sydney Shetnin. She's got 6 of them and a hitting percentage of .500. 3 blocks up front as well for Shetnin. Hannah Klein has 5 kills. She's second on the team, currently tied with Sylvie Scott's at 5 as well. Hitting percentage for Klein is .200. 2 service aces and 2 digs and a block for Klein as well. Scott's, like I said, 5 kills. She has 7 digs and a block. Madison Burr with 3 kills. Riley Martin has 2. Annalie Ventling Brown with 2 as well. Ventling Brown also has 3 blocks up front. Burr with 2 blocks for the Jacks. And looking at assists, Rachel Weber with 1, as well as a service ace and a dig. Maggie Meister's got 1 assist. No, I was right the first time. 3 assists for Maggie Meister, a service ace, and 2 digs. Jocelyn Richardson has an assist, 3 service aces, and 9 digs. Riley Martin with those 2 kills. She's got 15 assists and 6 digs. Weber will serve it after the Bison timeout. It is set point for the Jacks, set number 2, 24-22. Weber's serve is going to be an ace to end out set number 2. Weber with the service ace. The Bison just stared at it as it fell in the back left corner, well in bounds, and Weber walks away with a free service ace to end out set number 2. The Jackrabbits walk away with 2 sets, winning this one 25-22. We'll be right back after a 4-minute break for the 3rd set of this one. The Jackrabbits lead by 2 sets. The Bison, if they want to stay undefeated here in the Summit League, they're going to have to pull off the reverse sweep. We'll see what happens in 4 minutes on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
They are our cuddlers and coworkers, purr machines and love bugs, and constant companions. They are our pets, our family, and they make life so much better. When we face unexpected challenges in life, so do our pets. That's why we're on a mission to support people who love their pets, and the pets who love their people, ensuring these families stay exactly where they belong, together. And you have something to offer. With an open heart and mind, there is nothing you can't do. There's no gesture too small or too big when it comes to helping. Whether donating a bag of kibble, sharing an Instagram post of a lost cat, or welcoming a foster pet into your home, every bit of kindness counts. You can help keep pets and people together. Visit petsandpeopletogether.org to learn how to be a helper in your community. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says,
avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, Honey Bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
A heads up before something bad happens.
You should not send that text.
Uh-oh. Life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can reverse prediabetes and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by D.O. Bike and Fitness. Located at 1738 6th Street in Brookings, South Dakota, D.O. is a place for all things bikes. Offering top brands such as Trek and Electra, this close-to-campus store has both bike and e-bike options. Remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy a bike, and that's pretty close. 692-2022 is the number to call for this full-service and sales store. D.O. is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio KSDJ 90.7.
Welcome back into First Bank in Trust Arena. I'm Ben Anderson with Collegian Sports. The Jackrabbits take set number 2, 25-22 over the Bison. The Jacks leading by 2 sets in this one, winning the first set 25-21. The Jackrabbits could pull off the sweep here against their rival. If the Bison want to crawl back into this one, they'll have to pull off the reverse sweep. The Jackrabbits and the Bison are the last 2 undefeated teams in the Summit League, both 5-0 in the conference. One team walks away from this game 6-0, remaining undefeated, and one walks away 5-1, losing their first game in the Summit League tonight. Jackrabbits looking favorable here, leading by 2 sets, but we'll see what happens. As we switch sides once again, the Jackrabbits will be on the near side, the Bison on the far side, as I see it. Starting off, the Jackrabbits will serve it. It'll be Maggie Meister, the freshman, to serve this one away to the Bison. Meister behind the line for the yellow and blue. The first point is underway, picked up by the libero for NDSU. Here comes a spike return. It's dug up by Meister. Martin sets over to Sconce. Sconce gets it, diving in the back row is Randall for NDSU. Here's a block up front by Ventling Brown. Bison return is close to the line, maybe touched by Ventling Brown. Point awarded to the Bison. Bison with the first point of the third set. It's 1-0 in favor of NDSU. Service there by number 18, Barth. And the return by Shetnin is a kill. Sydney Shetnin with her 7th kill of the match. She's the kill leader right now for the Jackrabbits. We're tied up at 1 all in the third set. Richardson behind the line to serve this one away. Picked up that time by Randall. Here's a return over, tipped by Emma Tallman, and Tallman gets it to Sconce, and Sconce lightly taps it in a set, and it falls at her feet. She didn't get enough power on that one. Burr was in the area but couldn't get there quick enough. Bison with the point. It'll be 2-1. The Jackrabbits down by 1. Here is Emily Bruss to serve it for NDSU. Sconce back to Burr, and then to Sconce again for the spike. Here is a block on the right side. It's Burr and Ventling Brown who put it away, and we're tied up at 2. Two all as Rachel Weber comes into the game to serve it now for the yellow and blue. Weber's serve picked up in the back row middle. Here's the return by NDSU. That's into Weber, and Richardson dives to save it. A free ball here for NDSU, but an excellent dig by Richardson. Martin here to Sconce. Sconce gets the kill off the left edge, and Sylvie Sconce gives the Jackrabbits the lead here in set number 3. It's 3-2, Jacks by 1. That's Scott's 6th kill of the match. Weber still serves. This one dug up by Jansen, returned by the Bison to Weber. Here's Martin and Burr with a spike across, and Burr gets a kill as she walks inside of the right sideline with that spike and flagged inbounds. It's 4-2. The Jackrabbits are up by 2 in set number 3. Rachel Weber still serves. This one to the back right corner, and the Bison get blocked again, and it's Madison Burr on that one. 5-2, and Riley Martin in there as well for that combined block, Burr and Martin. And it'll be 5-2 in favor of the Jackrabbits as Weber serves again. Here to Randall. And the Bison send a spike dug up by Weber, who dove for that one. Sconce gets a spike on the left edge, and the Bison are going to have to recover and bring this one back in, and that's close to that right sideline, and they flag it inbounds. Point for the Bison. 5-3, the Jacks are up by 2, and serving for the Bison's Lauren Jansen. And Richardson gets out of position and whiffs on that bump, and point for the Bison on a service ace. It'll be 5-4 as the Jackrabbits up by 1 as Jansen serves again. Here Richardson gets the dig. Martin to Burr. Burr tips over and able to be dug up by the libero, and there is a attacking error there by the Bison. Point for the Jackrabbits will be 6-4 as the Jacks are up by 2. Scott's in to serve it, and this one picked up by libero Borer, and a block over there by Burr keeps it on the Bison side. They go to the same side again. That one goes out of bounds the back line. Point for the Jackrabbits on the attacking error there by the Bison. It'll be 7-4, Jacks by 3, set number 3. Scott still serves. Scott's to the back right corner, picked up by libero Borer. Here is a spike by Jansen, picked up by Weber. Here is a cannon unloaded by Sylvie Scott's to the back left corner, and you can't stop that one. It's 8-4. Kill by Scott's, and the Jackrabbits lead it by 4 here in set number 3. Scott's still serving. This one, return is a spike. Weber pops it up. Martin brings it back in from out of bounds. Scott's bumps it over for a free ball. The Jacks currently on a 3-0 scoring run. Scott's pops it up again. It's going toward the scoring table, and Dan Georgalis catches Rachel Weber, who was about to dive into Brent Bowen there, the broadcaster for the Summit League Network, and Dan Georgalis catches Rachel Weber before she goes crashing into that scorer's table. Here's the service by the Bison. They got that point. And Hannah Klein on the return. The Bison with a spike. They get it to Scott's. Scott's to Richardson. Richardson back to Klein on the left side. She can't get it through the block. It goes down on the Jackrabbit side. Point for the Bison. It'll be 8-6. The Jackrabbits up by 2. The Bison on the serve is Raya Borer. Borer to Scott's. Scott's to Martin. Here is Klein. Klein can't get it through the block. She sets up her blocked shot, gets it over to Burr. Burr sends a spike. The Bison all over it. They get blocked. Solo block by Martin, but she sends it just too far to the right and out of bounds. Good attempt by Martin there, who is all alone on that right edge, but she can't accurately block that one. Point for the Bison. It'll be 8-7. The Jackrabbits are up by 1 in set number 3. Here's Burr, who has a tip on that right side. Excellent awareness by Madison. Burr gets it over the blockers, and there's no one to fill for the Bison. It's a kill for Madison Burr. It's 9-7. The Jackrabbits up by 2, and Burr will be back to serve it. Burr's serve is picked up on the back right corner. Here's a block by Shetnin and Martin on that right side, and it'll be a kill off the block from Shetnin. It'll be 10-7. The Jacks up by 3. Madison Burr going to be serving again. Burr's serve to the back row middle. Here's the setup and the tip over, and Burr can't dig it. She dove for it. The Bison gets the kill. That one was Zoe John who got the kill that time. Jacks up by 2 here in the third set. It's 10-8. Number 5, Maddie Dombeck will be back to serve for the Bison. She's from Farmington, Minnesota. Martin spikes it over on hit number 2. The Bison are ready this time. Richardson there on the dig, gets it over to Klein. Klein sends a spike from the left side. The Bison there, and they send a spike that's inbounds on the back line for the Bison as this third set gets closer. It's 10-9. Jacks by 1. And just cleaning up a spot on the right sideline on the Jackrabbit side. And Maddie Dombeck will be serving for the Bison. After that spot gets cleaned up. Here to Scott's. Martin setting up Klein. Klein sends a spike from the left side. The Bison able to bring it back in and send back a spike of their own. Here's Scott's and Shetnin on the tip over. The Bison are ready. Here comes the spike back on the far side. It's Weber this time. Here to Scott's. Scott's over to Klein. Klein tipping. The Bison are able to fill and recover there. Here comes a spike that's out of bounds the back line. The Jackrabbits get the point on the attacking error there by the Bison. It's 11-9. The Jacks up by 2. It's set number 3. Here is Riley Martin to serve it for the Jacks. Martin gets it over to Jansen. Jansen gets it to Randall, and Randall brings it in front of Scotts, who cannot get a good dig on it, and it goes out of bounds on her touch. Point for the Bison. It's a narrow third set. It's 11-10. The Jackrabbits are up by 1. Bailey Randall serves it for the Bison. Here is Scotts, Richardson, and Klein. Klein gets it to the back row. That's Randall again. Here comes Jansen. Jansen to Martin. Here is Richardson. Over to the right side, that's Ventling Brown. Ventling Brown with a light spike over. Here's a bump up for the Bison and a big spike out of bounds on the left sideline. Point for the Jackrabbits on the attacking error there, out of bounds by the Bison. It'll be 12-10, the Jacks by 2. It's set number 3. Into the game comes freshman Maggie Meister to serve it. Meister on the serve. The Bison on the return, get it through the block of Shetnin, and it goes down on the Jackrabbits side. It'll be 12-11. The Jacks are up by 1. It's set number 3. Back to serve it is number 18, Allie Barth for NDSU. Barth gets to Richardson. Here's Martin setting up Scotts. Scotts gets blocked up front, and that was Ariana Bloom that time, the 6'1" middle blocker from Spring Valley, Minnesota for NDSU, and we're tied up at 12 here in the third set as the Bison start to get a hold of things here. Allie Barth will serve it again. Here's Richardson. Martin back sets. Ventling Brown with a tip over, and there's a kill in empty space for Ventling Brown. Point for the Jackrabbits. It's 13-12. Jacks by 1. It's set number 3. That's the 21st assist of the game for Riley Martin, by the way, and Jocelyn Richardson is back to serve it. Richardson tips the top of the tape and gets it over to the Bison side. It'll be a service ace for Jocelyn Richardson with a little help of the net there. It'll be 14-12. The Jacks are up by 2. Richardson on a serve again. Gets it to the back row middle and put away by Burr as the Bison put it too close to the net, and Burr sets it down on the Bison side for the kill. It's 15-12. The Jacks up by 3. Richardson to serve it once again. This to the back row middle again, that's Jansen. Here comes a spike. Martin gets a hand on it, but it's not enough as that ball lands in the lap of Dan Georgalis, the head coach for the Jackrabbits, and the Bison get the point. 15-13, the Jacks up by 2. In the game to serve it for the Bison, it's Emily Bruss. Scotts, Martin, and Burr. Burr gets blocked. It stays on the Jackrabbit side. Here's Scotts. Scotts tips over, and there's a kill for Sylvie Scotts. Good ball placement on the left side. It's 16-13. The Jacks up by 3. It's set number 3. In the game comes Rachel Weber, and she'll be back to serve it. By the way, that Richardson ace was the 9th ace of the game for the Jackrabbits. Weber gets one now here as it goes off the touch of Sadie Johnson, and Weber with her service ace. That's her second of the day. And that's going to make it 17-13 as the Bison call a timeout. Weber, that's actually Weber's 3rd service ace of the day, and that is the 10th service ace of the match for the Jackrabbits, and we're in the 3rd set. 10 service aces through the first half of the 3rd set, and it's 17-13. The Jackrabbits up by 4. They could get a sweep against the undefeated NDSU Bison here in First Bank and Trust. We will see. Jacks up by 4. The Bison use their first time out of the set. About 20 seconds remain of that one. Currently leading the team in kills for the Jackrabbits, it's Sylvie Scotts who's overtaken Sydney Shetnin. Scotts has 8, as well as 9 digs and a block. Shetnin with 7. Still, Shetnin has a hitting percentage of .500 and 4 blocks for the Jackrabbits. Madison Burr also with 4 blocks, and Annalie Ventling-Brown with 4 blocks. So block party for Shetnin, Burr, and Ventling-Brown up front for the Jackrabbits today, and a service ace for the service corps of the Jackrabbits as well. So Weber, coming off the service ace, and the timeout of the Bison, is back to serve again. This one out the back line, and an error there gives the Bison the point. It's 17-14. The Jackrabbits up by 3, set number 3. Lauren Jansen back to serve for the Bison. This one tips the top of the net, but makes it over to Richardson. Here's Burr, who unloads on it. Wasn't touched by the Bison. They say no, and it's a point for NDSU as that ball goes to the bounds off of Burr's spike. It'll be 17-15. The Jacks are up by 2. It's set number 3. Jansen still serves. This one hits the top of the net again, falls over to Martin, and I think Martin is going to be called with a lift here. Point for the Bison. That one Martin was not expecting. And here comes another serve, and that's a service ace for Jansen, and we're now tied up with the Bison at 17 as Jansen has gone on a 3-0 run. 2 errors there by the Jackrabbits back-to-back, and then an ace. And the Jacks are now going to have to take a timeout. It's their first time out of the set. We'll take it with them. Be back in 30 seconds on Collegiate Sports.
This portion of KSDJ 90.7's broadcast is brought to you by locally owned Brookings PowerQuest. Located in the University Mall at 820 22nd Avenue South, you can find everything your ride needs. From essential auto parts to top-notch accessories and customer service, PowerQuest is a one-stop shop for Brookings. Their phone number is 692-6298. PowerQuest is a proud sponsor of SDSU Student Radio, KSDJ 90.7.
It's the third set, and we're tied up at 17 as the Bison are on a 3-0 run. Excuse me, a 4-0 run, led by Jansen serving for the Bison. She'll serve it now. It's blue out tonight in First Bank and Trust, but there's still some green and gold over in the back right corner. Jansen sends the service error. It'll be point Jackrabbits. It's 18 to 17. The Jacks are up by 1 here in set number 3. Number 10, Sylvie Scotts in the back left corner to serve it for the Jacks. This one drops short to the front row. Here comes a laser of a spike. Did that go out of bounds? Yes, the flag says, and point for the Jackrabbits. It'll be 19 to 17, and the Jacks up by 2. Here is Scotts. Scotts' serve picked up by libero Borer, and NDSU with a shallow spike across picked up by Weber. Here's Martin Burr, and Burr gets the kill off the hands of the blockers for the Bison, and it's 20 to 17. The Jacks up by 3 in set number 3, nearing the end. Here is Sylvie Scotts. Scotts again serving this one. Back to Borer. Here is the return, Jansen and Weber. Martin setting up Klein on the left side. Klein gets it through the blockers, and an attacking error there by the Bison, and Borer gives the Jackrabbits the point. After Klein sent it across, Borer dug it up, but sent it out of bounds off the dig. Here is Scotts serving still. And the Bison return is a spike. Scotts digs it up. Martin sets it for Klein, and Klein gets it through the block on the left side into empty space in the back row. It's a kill for Hannah Klein. It's 22-17. The Jacks are up by 5, and the last time out of the game is called by the Bison. The Jackrabbits have 1 remaining. The Bison win none left of this third set. We'll take it with them. Be back in 30 seconds on Collegiate Sports.
Support comes from the South Dakota Agricultural Heritage Museum in Brookings, inspiring a passion for the diverse history, culture, and science of agriculture in South Dakota. To learn more about exhibits and events, you can visit agmuseum.com.
Welcome back in to First Bank and Trust. It's the third set. The Jackrabbits have won the 2 prior sets, looking to sweep the Bison here. It's 22-17 in set number 3 in favor of the Jackrabbits, and Sylvie Scotts is on a 5-0 scoring run serving. Jocelyn Richardson has 4 service aces for the day. She leads the team. The Jackrabbits have 10 service aces combined today. Scotts to the front row. It's Randall. Bison return in empty space in the back row. Scotts in the area but couldn't get ahead of it. It's 22-18. The Jacks lead by 4. The Bison will get the serve. It will be Rhea Borer, the libero for NDSU. She gets it over to Scotts. Martin sets it up for Burr, and Burr puts it away in the back left corner for the kill. It's 23-18. The Jacks by 5 against their rival here in set number 3. It's Madison Burr back to serve from the back right corner. Burr gets it on the tape, and it crosses. Service ace. Madison Burr brings us to match point in set number 3 after the service ace, the 11th of the day for the Jackrabbits. Madison Burr on match point. The serve is to Rhea Borer. It's headed out of bounds. The Bison got to bring it back. Free ball here to Burr. And Martin sets over on 2. The Jacks win it. The Jacks beat the Bison as Riley Martin kills it on hit number 2. the Jackrabbits beating the Bison here in First Bank and Trust, 25-18 in the third set, 25-22 in the second set, and 25-21 in the first set. The Jackrabbits get the sweep over the rivals Bison, and they walk away with their first loss of the season in the conference. The Bison go to 5-1 in Summit League play. The Jackrabbits remain undefeated in the conference, 6-0, and the Jacks will be celebrating tonight, sending the Bison packing in a 3-0 sweep. We will have a very brief post-game report for you, taking a look at some Jackrabbit stats. The Jacks had 11 service aces today and an amazing 36 kills on 116 attacks. A hitting percentage combined for the team of the Jacks is 164. Taking a look at some individual players, Madison Burr and Sylvie Scotts ended up leading the team in kills today, tied at 8. Madison Burr with a hitting percentage of .238, an assist, a service ace, and 4 blocks for Burr. Sylvie Scotts with 8 kills, a hitting percentage of .31. She had a lot of errors today and a lot of attempts, actually, 32 total attack attempts for Scotts. 10 digs and a block as well. Hannah Klein with 7 kills, hitting percentage of .167, 2 service aces, 2 digs and a block. Sydney Shetnan with 7 kills, a hitting percentage of .500 today for Shetnan, 4 blocks for her as well. Riley Martin with 3 kills, a hitting percentage of .300, 7 digs, 2 blocks, and 26 assists for Riley Martin. Annalie Ventling Brown, 3 kills for her on 15 total attempts. 4 errors today for Annalie Ventling Brown, a hitting percentage of -67. 4 blocks also for Ventling Brown. She is tied with Shetnan and Burr leading the team in blocks today. Rachel Weber, no kills today for Weber, but she had an assist, 3 service aces, and 15 digs. Maggie Meister had 3 assists, a service ace, and 3 digs. Jocelyn Richardson had an assist today, as well as 4 service aces. She led the team in service aces today, and 11 digs as well. That is the stat breakdown for the South Dakota State Jackrabbits. Leading the team in kills for NDSU is Bailey Randall. She had 11. Behind her was Lauren Jansen with 7, Emma Tallman with 5, Zoe John with 5, Allie Barth with 4, Ariana Bloom with 3. Those are the breakdowns for NDSU. The Jackrabbits get the sweep over the Bison, 3-0. First set goes 25-21 to the Jacks. Second, 25-22 to the Jacks. And third, 25-18 to the Jacks. That's all I got for us today. As always, I have been Ben Anderson for Collegian Sports. Thanks for everybody that makes this stuff happen. Thanks to our station manager, Matt Wieberdink. Thanks for Braden Byers for helping us put all this stuff together, and our faculty advisor, Brian Stemwedel, as well. Thanks for all the folks at the Collegian who are constantly working to make our products better, and thank you to you, the listener, for listening tonight. Coming up next for Jackrabbit Volleyball, they're going to be taking on Oral Roberts at home. That'll be the next home game on the 23rd, Thursday at 7 p.m. That'll be the pink game. We will have that for you on Collegian Sports. They will more recently, they will head to South Dakota later this week to play another rivalry game in Vermilion, and they'll head up to Grand Forks to play North Dakota on the 21st. But on the 23rd, heading back home, we'll have it for you here on Collegian Sports versus Oral Roberts. And coming up, this Jackrabbit football team going to be taking on the Bison and the Dakota Marker game. Tomorrow, we're doing club hockey, Jackrabbit club hockey for the first time. So if you want to hear some hockey on the radio, I will be doing that for the club team here. That'll be at 7, and then we'll do it again on Saturday. That'll be at 3:30. So if you want some hockey, tune in for that as well. Again, as always, I've been Ben Anderson for Collegian Sports. Go big, go blue, go Jacks. Have a good one, everybody.